Party leader, over to you. The leader of the People's National Party, Comrade Peter David Phillips.
Former President of the People's National Party, Comrade Portia Simpson Miller, officers of the party, I want particularly to recognize our guest of honor tonight, Comrade Derrick Kellier, and the members of his family who are here with us. I want to recognize also members of Parliament, councillors, the South St. James Executive and the stalwarts of South St. James. I want to recognize also those visiting from further afield. I see some Westmoreland comrades here. Comrade, and I know that there are comrades from Manchester and all over, because Derrick Kellier is really from St. James, but belongs to the entire People's National Party. I want to recognize also Bishop Burchell McPherson and former Custos Carruthers, who is here. Tonight, we pay tribute to a stalwart of the People's National Party. Someone who has given exemplary service to St. James, to Region 6, to the People's National Party, and to the people of Jamaica. He has served the political process at every level, starting as a group member and constituency worker, becoming ultimately a member of the PNP Youth Organization, a founding member of the People's National Party Youth Organization, becoming its national president, ultimately becoming Member of Parliament for South St. James, then Parliamentary Secretary, Minister of State, Cabinet Minister, Minister of Labor, and Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries. He also served the Parliament as Parliamentary Whip and Deputy Leader of the House of Representatives. I believe that Derrick was destined from birth for greatness. You only have to look at the name that he was given by his parents. Derrick means defender, protection. Like, you know, when people say you set up your derricks in the Jamaican way of speaking. That's what the word Derrick, that's the origin of the word Derrick. Leroy derived from the French language and means the king. Leroy. And Flavius was a notable Roman general in the old Roman Empire. So it was evident to his mother, if to no one else, from birth, that Derrick Leroy Flavius Kellier was destined for greatness. And he has written a record in the politics of St. James and South St. James, which is unparalleled. Because it's not well recognized that until Derrick Kellier came, South St. James had swung from one party to another party. It had distinguished PNP representatives. He succeeded Upton Robotham, Dr. Upton Robotham, who had served 2 terms, but had taken it, Upton Robotham, from the hands of Jamaica Labour Party, and I'd call in a name tonight, of that side. Before that, there had been a PNP. In fact, Clayton Morgan is here, Clayton Morgan's father, Dr. Cyril Morgan, had represented the constituency, but Derrick Kellier transformed it into a safe People's National Party constituency. And such is the quality of his record and the quality of his service that from he assumed office as Member of Parliament in 1989, winning 65% of the popular vote, which was the highest recorded by any PNP candidate in St. James in that election of 1989. His constituency has returned him in every election since to make him one of the longest serving parliamentarians. But his service to the parliament goes beyond the question of having been just re-elected time and time again. Because I think I can say without fear of successful contradiction that Derrick Kellier, while being a stalwart member of the People's National Party, is respected on both sides of the aisle in the House and has good relations with all the other members of Parliament. It's not an easy task, but it speaks to the quality of the man and the kind of honor and respectability that he has been able to secure without yielding an inch on his principles on any occasion. That's a great man. We worked together as a team when I was leader of the House of Representatives from 1995 till a date I don't remember. But Derrick Kellier was the whip in Parliament then. And it is a time, I think, when the Parliament certainly delivered important legislation for the people of Jamaica and for the People's National Party. And where it was only made possible by the kind of marshalling spirit that Derrick Kellier was able to provide for the members of Parliament from the People's National Party, who then formed the government. my recollections of Derrick Kellier, though, speak to another aspect of his contribution. And I don't think it is accidental that his birthplace is the same place where the Sam Sharp Rebellion took shape. And in a very real way, Derrick Kellier has come to embody for me that kind of spirit of assertiveness and courage and determination that we identify with Sam Sharp, with whom he identifies. And I dare say that no one has done more to establish the reputation of Sam Sharp in the annals of Jamaican popular consciousness today than Derrick Kellier has done. And it has given him a fervor, that sense that he has. If you want to get him talking without stopping, start a conversation with him about Sam Sharp. That's my experience of him. I've never said it to him. This is the first time I am saying it to him directly. But I have myself been enthralled by his own personal grasp and emotional attachment to the Sam Sharp story. And I think that tells us something about the concern that he has for the ordinary Jamaican and to see the upliftment of the Jamaican. He has carried me to some places I didn't know existed. The Horse Guards. There was a place one night, and he told me, which I didn't know, how it got the name. Because it was the encampment of the British Army troops up in Maroon country, really, almost on the border of St. Elizabeth and St. James. And I tell you, in the night up there, when we were up there, it was a cold night. But remember, the British were there to suppress the people of St. James. And Derrick Kellier still insists that history is not yet properly told and that we need to tell it, whether it is through heritage tourism or some other device. And it is a task that we must commit to as we celebrate the service of Derrick Kellier to our country and to the people of St. James. And that leads me to the final thing I want to say tonight. Because I think the greatest honor that we can do for Derrick Kellier, in honor of Derrick Kellier, is to continue to keep alive the purposes for which he devoted his life and continues to devote his life. Senator Lambert Brown spoke about his service to the workers of Jamaica. And I think we need to recognize, as comrades of the People's National Party, that many of the things that were gained, many of the rights that were gained by the trade union movement are today under threat. And it is going to fall to us to protect and defend those rights. It's visible right here in the tourism industry. We are here in one of the leading hotels in St. James area. And what we are seeing today, particularly as more and more of our tourist sector, including parts that were previously Jamaican owned, are being sold to owners overseas, is that many of the heights that were scaled by Jamaican workers are now being made shaky. Because of the changes in ownership, many Jamaican managers are now finding themselves unemployed and replaced by managers recruited from overseas. That's not why we pioneered this tourism sector. And quite frankly, we are going to insist, and we are going to have to insist, that the work permit laws are properly maintained and sustained as they were when Derrick Kellier was the minister. Growth will mean nothing, and prosperity will be just an empty ring if the people of Jamaica can't benefit. And what we're seeing now, not only managers, but musicians and entertainers being recruited from overseas to play reggae in hotels in our own country. It cannot be right, and if we respect the contribution of Derrick Kellier, we are going to put a stop to it in our time. So as we pay tribute to Derrick, let us remember the lessons of his career. He was part of a generation of youth, of young people, who remade the People's National Party as probably the strongest progressive force ever seen in Jamaica. They transformed Jamaican society under the direction of Michael Manley in the 1970s and took up the mantle of leadership further throughout the 80s and the 90s and beyond. But they remind us of the energies of the youth, energies that we must call upon again in the mission of social transformation of Jamaica, which is still relevant today. I saw one of those older youth, Paul Burke, who was part of that same generation of the 70s. And it's an important challenge because young people have the energy, they have the idealism, they have the vision, and we must give them the mission. And as we honor Derrick, we must remember the continued relevance of that mission of the 1970s, that mission to create a Jamaica of equity, a Jamaica where every Jamaican, no matter how humble their origins, can feel that their highest dreams can be realized. It is for us to make that possible. That was the vision that Derrick Kellier devoted his life to and continues to devote his life to. And that is a vision which is still relevant today. So as we honor Derrick, let us continue, let us rededicate ourselves to serving the mission which he dedicated his entire life to. God bless you, Derrick. We salute you for all you have done.